You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. We are so thrilled to have you with us here today. This is Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. This show really means a lot to me because this is the first show that I had. And what happened was I was being interviewed every Friday at 5 by someone at Business Talk Radio. And then I wanted to take the show over myself. And it was never heard of because I'm not an employee. So this means a lot to me because now it's my show and we have 14 shows and our own channel. So we are really thrilled. I am your host, executive producer, director, and the chief broadcast engineer here at Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn. My guest today is joining us. Her name is Stephanie Lueras. It's good to see you. Good to see you.
It's great to be here.
And you know what? I messed up your last name again. It's all week I've been saying your last name the wrong way. I don't know why. I'm not good with names. So I apologize. Tell us how to say your name.
It's Lueras.
Lueras. Okay. You'll always be Lou to me. How's that?
That's just fine.
So tell our audience, please, where are you joining us from today?
I'm in Lake Havasu City, Arizona.
Arizona. I love Arizona. I haven't been there, obviously, not in the last year or so, but I have a lot of good memories of Arizona. So I'm running your banner for people who are watching us. We're live streaming on Business Talk Radio and Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. But for those folks who can't read the banner because they're on the radio, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you'd like us to know about you today.
Well, I am a speaker, body positive personal trainer, and fitness nutrition specialist. I'm the owner of Heart and Soul Fitness and Wellness. And yes, I'm here in beautiful Lake Havasu City, Arizona, where we're just topping 100 degrees here. So and if you're not a big fan of the heat, I do work with people virtually as well. You know, my number one goal in life is to help people feel how they want to feel in their body, whether that's, you know, getting into shape, looking at your nutrition, or just really getting accountable in that wellness area.
Fantastic. And I want our audience to know that you've been here before. This is your second interview with us. And we do love when our guests come back and visit because we definitely want to know how you're doing and what you've been up to since that time. So I believe you were on with Pet Psychic Amina. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, we just had a show with her. It was fantastic. She does such a lovely job. So I'm so glad she introduced us. So you have a very interesting personal story as well. And I was hoping that since it's Stories of Hope, Inspiration, Overcoming Adversity, that you would share that with us.
Absolutely. Well, I came into this space of fitness and wellness through my own personal journey. About 6 years ago, was a much different person, both, well, just physically, spiritually, emotionally. I was just unhappy and knew that something had to change. But I wasn't going to go on another diet or, you know, work out incessantly or just get on that hamster wheel again. I'm a person that's been overweight my entire life, and I'm amazing at losing weight. I've lost hundreds and hundreds of pounds in my life, but I'm awesome at gaining it all back plus interest. So I know that traditional dieting doesn't work. but something was going to have to change that I'm not happy feeling. And so I cried out into the ethers, and I realize everyone that doesn't share my same faith, but for me, I'm a Christian, and I knew that this was going to be a faith journey in strengthening my faith and working on that spiritual path and really digging in and growing my faith. And through that, working on my spiritual relationship, not being stagnant in those spiritual disciplines, coming around to, okay, what are the little steps that I can take each day that's going to move me to where I want to be, is how things started to change. I never said I was going to lose weight, but I decided there were going to be different things that were going to change. There were going to be habits that were going to change. So it was, okay, let's just start to drink some water. But it wasn't going to be, the giant containers of water that we carry around. It was a little 6-ounce cup that I would fill multiple times a day and have to get up to the water cooler at the office and walk to at the other end of the building multiple times a day. And instead of going to fast food multiple times a day to feed me and my husband, I was going to cook at home. And it didn't matter what I was going to cook, but just cook at home. And then once that habit was established, it was being more aware of what I was cooking, starting to bring in more nutrient-dense foods, things like that. Then once I started to feel better, was moving more, was drinking more water, eating better foods, I felt like I was at a point where, okay, I want to bring some movement into my life. Well, what can I do? Well, at that point, I was in a much larger body. I was pretty close to losing my mobility. I didn't feel like there was a lot I could do, but I could walk. So I went out and I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk. Well, at that point, it was walk to the end of the street and back. And I thought I was going to die because just that short distance was all I could do. But it was, okay, we're just going to keep doing it. Walk to the end of the street and back, walk to the end of the street and back. Then eventually it was around the block, around the neighborhood, and further distances. And as I continued to build up that stamina, then one day I got the idea of, I wonder if I can run. And there was a stop sign, like, I don't know, maybe 50 yards down the street. And I said, okay, I want to run to this stop sign. And again, it was that idea of, I'm going to die. But something lit up inside of me in just that short distance where I'm going to figure out this fat girl running thing. And so I went and did all the research and all the things and the training programs. And then it was 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons. I've run several marathons. Now I've jumped over into triathlons and I'm training for my first full Ironman this year.
Woo!
If you're not familiar with an Ironman, that's a 2-mile swim, 112-mile bike ride, and a full marathon, all in the same day. People are like, really? All in the same? Yeah, all in the same day. And this was something that I never set out to do in the first place. I'm the kid that fakes sick in gym class. I never thought on the other side, it's, I'm going to come out with this crazy love of endurance sports. But in the meantime, I've lost over 200 pounds without intentionally dieting. I've left a toxic career. I've gained this joy of life. I've deepened my spiritual life. I've improved my relationships in across the board, friendships and my marriage, and just so many just different things.
Stephanie, let me just jump in and say it's incredible what you've done. That's why I'm so glad that you came back, because you're such an inspiration for everyone. And I think it's fascinating that you didn't focus on a diet. It wasn't about a diet. And it sounds to me like you were at the point where you were concerned about how long you might live or what your quality of life was going to look like way back.
Absolutely. You know, at that point, I was in my mid 30s and I was doing the same thing every day. I was going and sitting in my office, working 60 to 80 hours a week for really no enrichment. I was just unhappy. I was going through the motions of every day, just being stagnant. And there was no fulfillment in that.
I can see that.
How much longer could that have been sustained?
So I have a question for you, which I think really it relates to everyone. I know it definitely relates to me. It's our relationship with food and what we eat and why we eat it. And I know I would say that I've eaten a lot of sugar in my life that I didn't need, but I'm happy. Well, let's have a donut. I'm sad. Let's have a cupcake. So I have to cut it out altogether, which I did. But my question to you is, what did you find about your own relationship with food?
I have a very complex relationship with food. Is probably the nice way to put it. In looking at my relationship with food, I do have a diagnosed eating disorder. I actually have 2 eating disorders. And so I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of therapy. I've done all the things with it. And so when I look at that relationship with food, there is nothing off limits. And for me today with food, I work through a framework through that lens of full permission called intuitive eating, developed by Evelyn Tribole and Elise Resch, where there are no food rules, where we really hone in on those innate hunger cues that we were born with, coming back to the body's instincts that we were born with. And that is one of the rawest and probably scariest things to ever embark on in a relationship with food, to get back to, because as a society, we are programmed by this diet culture to believe that these foods are good, these foods are bad, these foods are healthy, these foods are unhealthy. We can't trust our own body to tell us this is enough, this is not enough, I'm hungry, I'm not hungry. We have to trust all of these external indicators instead. And so it's almost a retraining, and it's a process to really get back to trusting ourselves with food.
There's a lot to be said about that. We have to take a break, but when we come back, I want to talk about, and I'm sure this applies to people all across the world. We're at home, we're bored. What do? We eat. We're lonely, we eat. We're depressed, we eat. So I think I want to touch on that, and then I want to talk about how you've completely transformed in the fact that you're doing these incredible things that I mean, I've always been someone who exercises, and I never call myself an athlete, but I've never done what you've done. And I think it's really tremendous. So looking forward to sharing with that.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. We're going to take a listen to Trish Robichaud. She's one of our charter presenters on A Better You, which is our presentation platform. Let's see what she has to say about the work she's doing.
The world is changing, and your company needs to change with it. Whether it's procurement, employment, marketing, or customer service, it's now more important than ever for your business processes to be inclusive to people with disabilities. Hi, I'm Trish Robichaud with Changing Paces, and I'm here to tell you that making your business processes accessible to people with disabilities is simply good for business. Accessibility and inclusion are the law. But here's what you may not realize. Disability inclusion is an opportunity, not an obstacle. In fact, a recent 4-year study found that companies that fully embrace disability inclusion had a 30% higher profit margin than those that didn't. Your investment in staff disability inclusiveness training can pay off in areas like innovation, brand recognition, as well as customer and employee satisfaction and loyalty, not to mention productivity and profitability. At Changing Paces, we can help you make that happen for your business. Our experts have real-life experience that will help your team gain insight and best practices they won't get anywhere else. And we can help you create a customized training program to bring your organization into compliance with local and industry regulations. This topic is very close to my heart for me, very personal. Dealing with the challenges of MS for the past 25 plus years and having lost my job as a result of my diagnosis back then, I've made it my mission to bring disability out of the darkness and create a more welcoming environment for people of all abilities. As a pioneer in the field of inclusiveness, our company developed and implemented one of the first accessible customer service training programs in Canada. We provide complete online training solutions that blend with your branding, your policies, and your systems. Between our disability subject matter experts and our technical partners, we can provide you with both the content and the platform that you need to create an evergreen training program that empowers your people while it transforms your organization and your company culture. In short, we make disability inclusion easy in all parts of your business. Contact us now for a quote or consultation at info@changingpaces.com. Your bottom line will thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the Buzz Radio. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, stories of hope, inspiration, and overcoming adversity. We are live on Business Talk Radio and social media. And my guest today is the founder of Heart and Soul Fitness and Wellness. Welcome back, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Before the break, you shared some of your story with us, and then I wanted to see if we could just talk briefly about, in general, our relationship during a pandemic with food, and how when we're stuck at home or we're going through hard things, food is something that we turn to.
Absolutely. I've had the conversation a number of times, even recently, as we're starting to see the light. We're starting to open up a little bit. And what is our first reaction with anything is to find the automatic thing to do. And my first reaction when somebody says, well, I just found myself in the chip bag, was, well, what were you feeling? And sometimes the response is, well, this is what happened, either right beforehand or that day, or they give me a situation. But then I come back to it and I say, but what were you feeling? Identify the feeling. Because we have a lot of feeling words out there. But a lot of the times it comes down to either you're actually hungry and are feeding physical hunger, or you're angry, you're lonely, you're tired. Because we can use a lot of words for anger, we can use a lot of other words for loneliness, and we can use a lot of other words for being tired. So we're running and grabbing that snack to fulfill that emotion. And so we're kind of shifting back and taking that pause before we eat. We're checking in with ourselves. Are we hungry? You're just asking that simple question. As we're going to the pantry, as we're going to the refrigerator, are we going to the freezer? Am I hungry? And if the answer is yes, great. Grab a snack. But don't go from pantry to couch with the entire container. Put it on a pretty plate or a pretty bowl, or why are we saving our crystal glasses for the celebrations? Put our food in a nice vessel, and so we can enjoy it. We enjoy our food with our eyes too, right? We make it a full sensory experience. So take the food from the container, put it into something so that we make it presentable. Don't we deserve it?
Absolutely.
We make our food nice and pretty, the charcuterie boards and all the presentation. We make it nice for everybody else, make it nice for ourselves. Then go sit down at the table or somewhere where you can have that mindful experience, enjoying your snack or your meal. But don't sit down with your phone or the television. Okay, sit down with your bowl of popcorn in your Netflix. That's how we unwind. But the idea is to make our food that really sensory experience where we're looking, where we're smelling, where we're tasting, where we're feeling the texture of the food, the temperature, the taste. And really, because that's where we're getting that satisfaction, where we're fulfilling the hunger, so that when we're done with a portion, we're satisfied, where we're not coming back 10 minutes later for another portion unless we're truly physically hungry for it. And so we're not sitting there for an hour mindlessly, bag to mouth, just doing the motion, and then we sit here, oh, where did the bag of chips go? And poof, then we go through the guilt shame spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And what have I done?
I like to call it grazing, where you just go into the kitchen and just mindlessly pick up this, start eating it. You're looking at your phone, you're watching TV. Oh, I'm so hungry. Let me have this. And before you know it, you might have consumed 1,000 calories that you didn't even enjoy.
Right. And, sometimes it's even before you enter the kitchen, having that pause moment of, am I hungry? Do I even need to go in the kitchen right now? I have some people that know that they're not hungry, that they've made the determination that after a certain point at night, unless they truly know they're hungry and, exceptions get made, that the kitchen's closed, lights are off, kitchen's closed. Sometimes they've even made it to the point where they put a little rope across the kitchen door, that the little velvet rope at the movies that they used to have, that nope, I don't need to go in there. because I'm not physically hungry. So I'm good. I don't need to go in there. And it's
Stephanie, I would love for you to share with us how you work with your clients. What does that process look like?
Well, I do. Anyone that's interested in taking a look at what I have to offer, I do have a free consultation available, and you can get on my calendar by going to my website, stephanieunderconstruction.com, and at the bottom of my homepage, there is the link to get onto my calendar. I do see people in person and virtually. But I do offer both personal training as well as nutrition counseling and accountability coaching. And I do have a group coaching program as well, where if you have a specific goal that you're working on, whether it is in the area of fitness or nutrition, and just feel like you need a little bit of extra accountability and like that group atmosphere, that might be something to take a look at, and we can have a conversation about what that might look like for you.
And as you're training in these various races that you participate in, do you offer your clients the ability to train them to get marathon ready or triathlon ready with you?
At this point, I don't do endurance race coaching. That's not something that I do, but I'm happy to refer somebody to some amazing coaches in that arena.
It's fantastic. And would you share with us, how do you mentally prepare for a race? And is it days in advance, weeks in advance? I know I did one 10K, and literally walking, it was in Vegas, walking from the hotel, I think it was a mile we had to walk to get to where the race started. I told myself, I am absolutely not running. I'm only going to walk. And meanwhile, I've flown all the way out there. I've been training, and literally the whole time, I'm only going to walk. I'm only going to walk. And when I started, I thought, I'm going to run. I came all this distance and I'm going to run, but I almost talked myself out of it. So share your secrets, if you would, please.
Well, there's a big planning that goes into this, other than just the physical training, especially as you bump up in distance, and just the endurance that goes into these things. It is a huge mental and emotional toll. I think my coach himself probably needs a degree in psychology for all of the baloney I throw at him, because I want to quit probably every other day. But God bless him for putting up with me. But you build that mental endurance as well. And for me, one of the biggest things is visualization. And I probably, when things get rough, even on those days I don't want to get out of bed, is picturing that finish line, because there is nothing like that finish line feeling. And I have never crossed a finish line, whether it's a 5K or a marathon, that I haven't cried, because there is something about the accomplishment of all of that time in training that is just, there's nothing like it. So I try to picture what the finish line of that race that I'm preparing for is going to be like. And right now I'm training for Ironman in Arizona. I have the added benefit. I've been on parts of the course, and I've actually seen the actual finish line for this course. So I have a really good mental picture of what that's going to be like. And so I can run that through my mind over and over. And then the other thing is just keeping that nutrition, that hydration on par, so that you're feeling your best all the way through.
They're great tips. Thank you for sharing that. You've actually inspired me to get out and start running again, because I haven't been running for I don't even know how long. That 10K was not last year, but the year before. But you're right. There is nothing better than you crossing the line, and then they take the pictures of you. And as it turned out, for my age group, I finished, I think, in the top 5, something like that, which was really surprising. Probably because there's no one in my age group running, but that's another story. But it definitely is a wonderful thing. I love everything that you're doing. You look really great. You look happy, and I'm glad that you could come back and see us again. When is this next race?
So I have a half Ironman coming up this summer in Boulder, Colorado, and then I have my full Ironman at Ironman Arizona will be in November.
Okay. Well, we would love for you to come back and tell us how it went and inspire us again. So it's been lovely having you here. If you would, for those folks who are listening to us on the radio, just please give your contact information again.
Absolutely. Easiest way to find me is on my website, Stephanie under construction.com. And you can find me on all of the social media networks just by searching Heart and Soul, SOLE Fitness.
I love the name of your website. That is fantastic. And we do have a comment here. Facebook user, we don't have your name. I don't know why, but a full sensory experience. Love it. Thank you so much. It's terrific. If you missed the beginning of our show or you want to see any of our shows, you can go over to our YouTube channel, Dr. Jacalyn LLC, and you find all of our programming there. Stephanie, I wish you a wonderful weekend and best wishes for your upcoming races. And please come back and see us again.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you. See you later. Bye. Thank you again. That was another fabulous guest. I'm so blessed that we have the best people coming here sharing inspirational stories, business stories, all kinds of education and entertainment. We have one show left for this evening, which is coming up right at the top of the hour. I'm going to do a quick change and then come back. But I did want to let you know something that is very near and dear to my heart. I am on the board of the Crohn's Colitis Foundation. I run a support group. I'm a volunteer. I'm a patient. I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 1991. It is a chronic, incurable disease, and I have been sick every year for 3 to 6 months. I'm actually sick again. I was in remission, and now I'm not well again. So the reason I bring this up is stories of hope, inspiration, overcoming adversity. I would really love it if you would go to my Facebook page, Jacalyn Kerbeck, and you would donate for the Take Steps Walk. Our walk is coming up. It's one of 3 events that I participate in every year. And Take Steps, it's Dr. J's Colitis Crew. I love that name. I'm Dr. J. It's not the other Dr. J. But the Take Steps Walk is June the 5th at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. It's actually a drive-through event. But I need to raise $3,000 for that, and I'm very short. So anything that you can donate would greatly be appreciated so we can find cures. We're always coming up with new options for patients, but we need funding, of course. Our second event is the Evening of Hope Gala, and that is October the 6th. And then Spin for Cures, which I love that event. That is, I love spinning. That is coming up. I think it's in November. I don't know if we have a date yet. But again, if you could go to, and I'll run my banner, if you could please help me with the fundraising, I'd really appreciate it. You can go to my website, Jacalyn Kerbeck, and you can donate right there. And honestly, $1, $5, whatever you can spare. I remember every person who's ever donated to me, and it makes a huge difference. It really means a lot to me. I take it very personally. So thank you again. As I said, I'll be right back in a few minutes for our next show, which is the Variety Show with co-host Lori Mendelson and our guest, Shasta Townsend. We'll be right back. See you then.